we have 30 minutes with the champions, and so I'm not going to do super long bios. And Verity, I got to say, you answered a lot of the questions right out of the gate. It was beautiful, but I think there are a couple of things in your intro that I'd like to talk about. Is you have walked 1,200 kilometers rather across France and Spain. You are a singer. And you, yes, I saw you on YouTube. And also, you did a great article for Forbes magazine. And what I really loved that she didn't actually articulate was if you really need to put a message down to 10 words or less. Not bad, right? 10 words or less. That's what Forbes was quoting you as saying. So welcome to this panel. You're going to be a great contributor today. And anything that you've already answered, I'm going to ask you to go even deeper when we get to this round of the questioning. Okay, I'd like to bring Craig Valentine up to the front. Craig, oh my goodness. He's a world champion. A humble man. Humble man, a great leader. Welcome to our panel. Yeah, take whatever. Yep. And, the thing I remember about Craig is the storytelling capability of this man is incredible. I will still remember your grandmother's or your mother's oatmeal chocolate chip cookies when you walked into the building and the waft of the smell of those cookies and how it made you feel. And I don't know if you remember the speech, and I probably just killed it, but honestly, it's that kind of storytelling that's really stayed with me. Craig is an international speaker. He's been all around the world. I mean, look, I've got accolades a mile long here. This is a guy who's been to a lot of places. So welcome. Roger, a name that we all know. Roger Caesar is our local. Welcome.
I just told him he's in my city.
We're in Roger City. Roger, we all know, and I think just a couple of comments. Roger's always got this huge smile, right? Always wears a huge smile no matter what. And he's got some stories that would tell you he shouldn't always be smiling because he's had some things happen, but wow, this guy is an inspiration to all of us. And I learned today, this is new, check out the shoes. Check out, right? So we had a shoe comparison, and I did not do very well. But the good news is Roger gave me advice on how to correct that situation. So it's great to have you here, all of you. So let's have a seat, and I'll settle into some questions. And if you have anything burning that you would like to know that I don't cover, just raise your hand, and we'll make this very interactive.
Can we just say hi to Verity right now? Hello, Verity.
Yeah, Verity.
What's going on?
Verity, can you see us, or are you blind to us right now? Oh, you can?
No, I can. I can see you. I couldn't see you when I was talking, so it was quite lonely, but just felt like the competition again.
Yeah. Excellent. So here's a question. Verity, welcome. Maybe I'm going to start with you. How do you stay so calm? I'm going to ask all of you the same question, and if you go too long, I'll cut you off. But Verity, how do you stay so calm when you're speaking?
No, I think it's a bit like a duck. You look calm on the top, but this is going on underneath. So I just do a lot of breathing beforehand. I mean, specifically for contests. You could have seen me walking around, arms up, breathing, praying. And then just a lot of breathing out. I breathe out more than I breathe in. But there's a lot of this going on under the water.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's a bit big stakes speaking, right? So you'd expect that. How about you, Craig? What do you do to stay so calm?
Meditation.
Meditation?
Meditation. Can I say something?
You can say anything.
Okay, thank you. Hi. I just want to say something because Verity talked about curiosity, and she also talked about the gift and the package. And several months ago, I received the package. Now, I get Amazon packages all the time because I love books. So that's not out of the ordinary. But this package had no label on it at all. And so I went to my 16-year-old son. I said, "Did you order something?" He said, "No." So I put it up to my ear and shook it. And then I said, "You know what? Let's just go ahead and open it." And I opened it, and it had the most amazing watch in it. And then I kept opening it. It had another amazing watch in it. And then I opened the third one, had another beautiful watch in it, and I still had no idea who this came from. And then 30 minutes later, I got a text from Roger Caesar, who said, "Did you get my gift?" And I said, "Yeah, man, I don't understand it. Why did you get me 3 watches?" And this is exactly what he said. "Because of all the time you spent with me, I wanted to give some of that back to you."
Wow.
So I want to publicly thank you for that. And to Verity, I just want to add on to her story. After her sister Kay changed her speech, she won, right? Didn't she win the district? Yeah.
Yes.
So they keep it in the family over there in South Africa. So welcome.
See, there you go. Even here, like that, he can come up with a great story and tell it very compellingly, right? That's an art. That's not easy to do. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
All right, so you meditate. What do you do, Roger?
Well, I gotta first say something back to him.
You know this was inevitable with this panel, right?
You got to understand something, and I've got to say this publicly about this gentleman. I have known him, and I've talked about this in a post that I did recently. In 2015, for those who are from District 86, Craig Valentine was at our conference. Do you remember that? Yes. Right. And that was the very first time that I had ever won the international speech contest. And he's doing his keynote speech, and he stops in the middle of the keynote speech. He sees me standing in the front. I've just won. He comes walking up to me, and he goes, "Are you prepared to be a champion?" And I'm looking like, get my bearings right, and I finally say yes, but I had no idea what he meant at the time. And I'm so happy that I've been able to watch the likes of him and many others along the way who have shown me what a true champion is about. It's not about the trophy. It's about how you present yourself, the responsibility that you take when you go out there and show each person who you inspire and you motivate what it's all about to truly be a champion, and you give back constantly. So that's what I want to say to you. Thank you very much. So when I gave him those 3 watches, plus I also gave him a case with his name on it. He didn't tell you that. Yeah, I spent some serious money on this guy.
A budding bromance here.
But it's because of the fact that as a champion, he did not have to spend as much time as he did with me as I was preparing for last year's World Championship. And I felt like, you know what? That's why I love this guy. And no, it's not no bromance. Don't try it.
It's an
But I love him
appreciation.
still. Thank you very much, my man. As for what I do, for me, everybody else here has some great ideas. Me, it's just music. I love music. I've grown up with music all my life. My father used to play it every Saturday, whatever type of music he liked, he would play it loud in the house. So regardless, you had to get up. That was what it was. But I love music because it calms you. What does music do to people? It calms your nerves. So that was what it was. I get calmed by listening to my favorite songs.
And you do that before you speak? Do you actually?
Every time. Whether I'm speaking, coming here to this event, I was playing my favorite songs. And that alone, like I've said to many people, have heard this story before. I said that my daughter, who is 17 now, when she was about 2 or 3 years old, she's in the back seat of my car, and I'm playing my music, and all I hear in the back is, "Yeah, Daddy,
Yeah.
your neck knows." And it's the truth. What do you do when you hear music? What's the first thing y'all do? Right? And that's what she started doing. She goes, "Yeah, thank you, Verity. Your neck knows." And that's what I realized. Music does that. It takes you out of any type of negative feeling you're in.
Thank you, Roger. Next question. I'll start with you on this one, Craig. You have so many amazing things that have happened in your life. How do you sift through them? Verity talked a little bit about sifting through and not taking things for granted, but how do you actually find those ones? Where do you spend time just contemplating all the things that have happened and what you could write about? Or like, how do you say, this is something I want to write a speech about?
Well, if it makes me laugh or it makes me if it touches me in some way, like that touched me, right? I know it's going to turn into a story.
Right.
Right? You want to get that? Okay. See, that could be a story right there.
Right there, yeah.
We could anything that happens unexpectedly or makes me laugh. Like, for example, you might have heard this before, but this goes back to what Verity was saying. And Mark Brown, the 1995 world champion of public speaking, says, your stories don't have to be sensational, they just have to be sincere. Right? So raise your hand if you ever watched the Summer Olympics. Okay, the best Summer Olympics for me was 2012 in London, right? Because who was the oldest participant in the 2012 Summer Olympics? When I was in Minnesota, a lady said, the Queen. I was like, no. She was in the promotions. She was not in. It was a 74-year-old equestrian from Japan. You're right, a 74-year-old equestrian from Japan. And unfortunately, all the commentators kept harping on Verity was the guy's age, right? They just kept saying, he's 74. Can you believe he's 74? By golly, he's 74. Finally, my 7-year-old son looked up and said, well, how old is the horse?
There's the story.
I was laughing for days.
Right.
So I said, now I need a point, right? So about a week later, I couldn't get that question out of my mind, so I Googled it. And they asked this man, they said, well, how long will you continue to compete? Guess what his answer was? Until I... He said, I can go on forever, but my horse is 15. And that's when I realized my son's question was much more relevant than I thought. And even though, Roger, he was only 7 years old at the time, my son, not the horse. He taught me something very important about life. Never stop asking questions.
Right.
The moment you stop asking questions is the moment you fall. Never stop asking. So you see, when it touched me like that and I laughed and I couldn't stop laughing, I said, it has to be a story. Now I need to find the point.
There's a topic. Right.
And who's the guru? My son, which is what Verity's talking about before.
Thank you.
So that's how I come up with it.
Thanks, Craig. That's awesome. How about you, Verity? Dig a little deeper for us.
I lost that. Sorry, you distorted?
I'm sorry?
Same question. She didn't get the question.
Yeah. Oh, the same
microphone's
question.
Distorted. Same question. So a lot of my stories, actually, if you watched my championship journey last year, a lot of it's my personal stories from my family. So between my mom, my sister, my brother, my father, we went through a lot as a family. We left Zimbabwe during the war. We came here, started over with nothing. So that gives me a lot of story fodder, I would. And then any of my challenges that I've overcome, and as Craig says, the things that make you laugh, but I often forget those. So it's also a matter of actually remembering to write something down when it happens and keep a little story journal, because sometimes they do just get pushed to the back. But I've got like key significant moments that those are if I find I tell a story a lot at a dinner party, I know that I should keep telling it. Those are the ones that you kind of keep drawing on, and it's like, oh, I love telling that story. Let me bring it into a keynote.
Do you actively journal every day, kind of thing?
Well, no, I don't. I should, but I don't.
So you just journal when you're inspired. You'll write something down. You have a place to put it. Oh,
exactly.
That's cool. Thank you.
Can I mention the 4 F's also?
Sure.
I always look at failures, flaws, frustrations, and firsts. If you can look at your failures, your flaws, your frustrations, and firsts, I think that's the quickest way to connect with an audience.
That's awesome advice. Thank you. How about you, Roger? Do you keep a journal?
No, I don't keep a journal, and I agree with both Verity and Craig. For me, it's life. Life brings a lot of the stories that I have. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The problem is oftentimes when those stories are embarrassing, sad, or hurtful to you, you want to throw them in the back of your mind and lock them up and throw away the key, because you don't want people to hear that, or better yet, you yourself don't want to remember them. So you try not to talk about those ones. So yeah, we talk about the funny ones and the ones that make us laugh, but you don't realize how important those stories, those ones that you keep locked up, are to an audience who is sitting there waiting to hear just that particular story. I've often said that your stories are the gateway to your soul and the pathway to an audience's heart. And when you realize how important those embarrassing, sad moments are, And then you have one person who comes in the room, and you probably had it as well, Verity, where you have that one person in the room who comes over to you after you've spoken, and everybody's giving you your accolades and say, that was amazing, that was amazing. And that person has either tears in their eyes or are literally full of joy because they said, I needed to hear that. And that's what is great about being a speaker and motivating and inspiring people through your life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I learned that from Patricia Fripp, great speech
Right.
coach, and she was coaching me, and she said, what happened right after college? I said, no, we're not going to be talking about that year. She said, what happened? I said, I had 5 jobs and I failed them all. Now, you know, Fripp is British. She said, no, you weren't failing, you were exploring your options. I said, I was? So, but the point is, I went into one of those stories that I call the bookstore story, and I dug it out. It was a place in my life I did not want to go to, and now that's my closing story in many of my keynotes. Okay, so go to that place in your life you didn't want to go to. I did want to mention one app that I have, because you keep asking about journaling.
Yeah.
I have one app that's called, can you read that? I didn't win the world championship of reading.
You did not read. Let me see which one you're talking about.
Right here. Oh, it's
Reflectly.
called Reflectly. And what you can do is you can just speak into it, and it will type it out for you. Okay, so yeah,
we
it'll
gotta like
dictate it
that.
for you. So you speak into it and just keep notes, and it'll dictate it for you, and you can go back and listen to what you said and see if it was any good, and see if you can use it.
Now, what I have, can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
too?
one more thing.
What I have seen, sorry. What I have seen, or what I've done myself, is anytime, you got to keep your eyes open, ladies and gentlemen. Keep your eyes open around you. And when I see something or I hear something that catches my eye, I write that down in my notes. And I might use that sometime in a speech or somewhere else, but I'm always constantly listening and looking all around me.
Thank you, Roger. Hey, Verity, you've done so many things in your life already. Did you always want to be a public speaker? Did you have a dream as a child, as a teen, that you were going to be a world champion public speaker one day and speak into thousands of people? How did that happen?
I dreamed of being an actress, and I used to practice my Oscar acceptance speech at about 12. And then at 13, when I got the lead in the school play and started being bullied for it, all the girls hated me, I just put all those dreams to bed, and I started suffering from stage fright. So I used to skip school if I had to read the Bible in assembly, and this was the last thing I was ever going to do. And then on my 20th birthday, out of nowhere, I started songwriting. And it took me 7 years to get courage to get on stage to sing for the first time. And so I just found if you've got a message inside you that's bigger than the fear, you'll find a way around the fear. But it was definitely not what I was going to do with my life.
I like that. The message is bigger than the fear. Excellent. It's interesting to me how people don't intend to be public speakers, but how about you, Craig? Did you always intend to be a world champion public speaker?
No, I had a lisp that was so bad, people referred to me as Daffy Duck. Yeah. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, you'll hear the rest.
Can't even tell.
You'll hear the rest of the story later tonight.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to tell you the end yet.
So you had no inclination at all, though, to be a...
No. I had 2 dreams. One was to be Dr. J. And play in the NBA. I made it up through college. I played through college, and then my other one was to have a farm with horses. So neither one of those came true. I was exploring my options. That's exactly right.
Well, surely out of the 3 of you, there's got to be someone who wanted to be a public speaker all their lives. How about you, Roger? You're the last hope here.
Nope, not at all.
No?
Like Verity, I wanted to be an actor in a soap opera.
Oh, wow.
I'm dead serious.
The Bald and the Beautiful.
No. It's funny because I remember, and I'm saying this right now, I loved The Young and the Restless. And I wanted to be, who's a fan of The Young and the Restless still? Okay, Nick, Victor Newman and everybody. I wanted to be, Christopherson's cousin. I was trying to be him. Every time I saw the show, I said, yeah, I could be his cousin. I could go out there. And that obviously fizzled and failed miserably. But I did not want to be a speaker. I literally came into Toastmasters afraid to just be in a setting of just a small setting. And it was just somebody in the room who actually said, you could be a champion one day.
Oh, really?
After my first speech.
Oh, there's a good question in that. So were you inspired by anyone to do this? So where along the way did that moment arrive where somebody said that to you, Roger? When did you start to believe that? And I want to hear from each of you on that, please. When did you hear it and when did you start to believe in it?
After my icebreaker speech, I sat down and he was sitting on the left side of me. And when the break happened, he came over and he put his arm on my shoulder and he said, you'll be a champion one day. His name is Sanjay Sharma. I'll never forget. And I laughed in his face. And he said, no, you have all the potential, but you need to work on your skills more. But I said, okay. And then after the second and third, he'd still be in that corner, just.
The creepy guy in the corner.
Just looking and saying, yeah. And then I started to believe it after my fourth speech. And I started to compete, and wow. I guess the rest is history, as they say.
Thank you. How about you, Craig?
I was going to wait till tonight, but I'll just let you know now, because it actually is a good thing that you're asking me this, because some people don't like me. You want to know why?
Who?
Think about my title. I joined Toastmasters in March of 1998. Got my CTM in March of 1999 and won the World Championship in August of 1999 in my very first try. Well, thank you. Yeah, you clap, but can you feel the haters in the room? Right? Because people come up to me all the time. They say, Craig, you don't even know what it feels like to lose a contest. Yes, I do. Verity, I lost the humor speech contest at the club level.
There you go.
Thank you for laughing at my
There's hope for us. There's hope.
And I'll never forget, a seasoned Toastmaster named Alan Mish came up to me afterwards, and he said, Craig, you can win the World Championship of Public Speaking.
Wow.
And I said, what are you talking about? I just lost the humor speech contest at the club level. He said, that's okay. He said, the only thing wrong with your humor speech was that it wasn't funny.
It wasn't funny.
So he's the one that planted the seed. Because he said, if you give that same type of speech with some humor sprinkled in, but a really good message, you can go a long way.
So did you hear that message more than once along the way, more than that one person?
No, always from him.
Always from him. Yeah.
I'm still hearing that from him.
Not even your wife? Like, really?
No, she didn't know. My wife didn't know I was competing until I got to the district.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Because the first time when I told her I was competing, I lost at the club. Right? So I said, no more. I'm not competing tonight. I'm going to make sure I'm pretty good at this before I tell her.
At our house, when I do a speech, I follow everyone around trying to get them to listen so they know I'm doing a speech.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How about you, Verity?
Well, my sister beat me
Right.
time, and that really messed with my ego. But that year, I entered the humorous, and I came third in a tiebreaker club. And I had such a sense that I had a good speech. And the girl who came second said, Verity, I think they made a mistake in the judging. Like, something went wrong. You should join another club with that speech. So I did. And I went all the way to district and came second. And there I was happy. The woman who won was way funnier than me. But as I said in my talk earlier, I just put a lid on it when it came to this contest. I just said, I don't speak the way they need for the international speech contest. There's no point. I'll never win it. And something shifted when it went virtual. And I suddenly saw a possibility of like, this could be fun. I can do this. I'm at home with a young child. And I had the premonition that I was going to win. And I didn't tell anyone. And then people started messaging me. I got about 5 different people that from the club level were going, we think you're the next world champion. And it just kept going. And it was just so uncanny when I actually won. But it felt, I didn't know, but it was also everyone in Africa was like, please win. No one's ever won it from here. Like, bring it back. But there was just the sense that this was the year. And I was so clear the week before finals. I was like, if I don't win, I'm out just because I'm exhausted. I don't have this in me. It's too much with a child. And so I'm so grateful it worked out. But it, as I said, none of it's a given. But I had this bizarre premonition, a positive premonition that it was going to happen. So I just listened and I went for it.
Great.
I got to say something, because I was in that competition with her. We are good friends. I'm still holding that against you, but that's okay. I was the first speaker in the contest. So I decided, you know what, look, wherever I am in the competition, first to the 8th speaker, I'm just going to go out there and do the best I can and let everything fall as it may. So when I drew number 1, how many people have ever drawn number 1 when they competed and they just, your whole face and your body just goes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I did for about 5 or 10 seconds. I just went, oh, God.
Why?
Then I said, okay,
Yeah.
let's just go out there, put on my big boy pants, and let's see what we can do. So I went out and I did my speech, and I felt like it was great. I turned off the camera and I went, yeah, it's good, all right. 4 speakers later, Verity goes on. She does her speech. I go like this, okay, all right. That's who I'm competing against. All right, good.
Dear.
So I love you. I love you. You know this already, but it was funny with regards to being in that competition, and you have that moment, and then you realize, damn.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you, Roger. That was good. All right, Verity, we'll hit you with this question. This happens to some people, not everyone, but some people get brain freeze when they're up there, and suddenly, what's my next line, paragraph, sentence, whatever, and we have that moment of panic, but the show must go on. How do you handle that? What do you do? Or does it ever happen to you? I don't believe you if you say it doesn't, by the way, just so you know. So what do you do?
Well, it has happened to me. I'm quite good at thinking on my feet, and it actually happened in my final speech. And then I've watched people dissecting my speech on YouTube things going, she really missed that chance at a triplet, saying detours, delays. And then she goes, and things that go wrong. And it's like, because I forgot difficulties. And I went, things that go wrong. They're like, I can't believe she missed that chance for a triplet. I was like, no, I didn't. My brain froze, but I think that you have to just keep standing up and speaking and learning to push past it, which I'm trying to think. But I'm also okay with things going wrong. Like if things go wrong, I'll say, hang on. I mean, not in a contest. Contests are different. But normally I can laugh with the audience. I can turn it to my advantage. Since having a child, there's a lot more brain fog than there used to be, though. I can say that for sure, that the memory is not what it used to be.
If it makes you feel any better, I watched your speech. I didn't notice that at all. So now I'm going to go back and try to figure out where it happened. You've inspired me to do homework, which is not so simple either. Thank you. How about you, Craig? How do you deal with it?
You know what? That's another story that I'm telling tonight.
Well, what is this? I didn't talk to you earlier.
You know what my speech is? It's like, it's another story. So I can't give you that now. If it's now and not in a contest, I'll just say, where were we?
Right.
Where were we?
Right.
They'll tell you where. They have no problem telling you where you are and where to go.
Right.
I think the bigger question is, how do you handle your nerves? You know, how do you handle your nerves? And I'll just tell this really quickly. Back in probably 95, I think it was, my best friend asked me to sing at his wedding. Now, what do you think the first problem is?
You can't
sing.
Yeah. Unlike Verity, I can't sing, right? But what's the second problem? I wasn't assertive enough to say no. So here I am in the church, and you know there's always that back room for the groomsmen to be in. There's always a door in it in case the groom wants to leave, right? But all the groomsmen are back there, and they're like, Craig, are you nervous? I tried to fake out my nerves. I played college basketball. I was like, me, the kid, nervous? Come on, I played college basketball in front of 18,000 people. I can sing in front of 200. Nervous? Me? You gotta be kidding me. Then the music started playing. And for the first time in my life, my breath left me. Yeah. I didn't know where it went or when it was coming back, but my breath was gone. Now, here's the thing, Roger, if you can't breathe, you can't sing. Right? Now, I know you want to think that I came back and hit a home. No, I was the worst wedding singer in the history of weddings. And Catherine, keep in mind, this is supposed to be his only wedding, right? Failed miserably. But I learned a lesson. Don't ever try to fake out your nerves. They will come back and grab you. So what I learned was accept your nerves They're there to help you.
Right.
So when I go to the World Championship and there's 2,000 people in Chicago, Illinois, and there's a big jumbotron on the left, a big jumbotron on the right, so if anything's hanging out of your nose, it's like magnified 100%.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think I was nervous? Yes. Scared to death, and I was speaker number 9. I watched everybody go first. I accepted my nerves, and I got up on stage and gave that speech better than I ever had in practice when I didn't have nerves. So accept your nerves, flip the script on your nerves. If somebody says, are you nervous? Say, I hope so. If you can start flipping the script on your nerves like that and accepting your nerves, they'll serve you. Focus on your audience, not on your nerves.
Thank you. Very good. Roger?
I told Craig this story when we were driving up, and I'll say it to you. My first time going to the district championships was in 2013 for the table topics contest. And for anybody who remembers that contest, it was in Blue Mountain, the snowstorm of a lifetime.
I was there.
Do you remember that?
I was there.
Okay then. Wondering why in God's name they decided to have the contest up there.
Right.
But I went there and I was the 8th speaker going up. And there was a gentleman in the room, no, the 9th speaker, and he was the 10th. And there was a gentleman in the room, and he is pacing back and forth, looking at me, just staring at me. And he's just walking by. This goes to the nerves part. So finally he says to me, Roger Caesar. Don't know you. Never heard of you. I said, well, you're going to get to know me now. And then he says, I was the runner-up in this contest last year. So my nerves are already going. So I turned around to him and I said, you might be the runner-up again.
Yikes.
I ended up getting second in my first time up there in the contest, and he didn't place, but he came over, and I really appreciated it. He came over afterwards, and he said, you're a good speaker. Very good. I like it.
Going to be world champion one day.
Yeah. But the truth is that when it comes to those brain farts or freezes, as we say, I have an amazing coach that I've had, and I got to give her credit because she's in the room right now. Her name is Catherine McKenzie. And Catherine and I have been working together ever since 2015. And being a teacher, that's what she is. I swear to you, I felt I was back in school many times with her when she was teaching me to remember my lines, go through them. So I never really had a problem getting my lines out there when I was on stage. But like Verity, there are times when you might miss a word or two. And because of the training I had with her, I learned how to be able to throw another word in and try to remember where I was next. And it was very easy for me after a while, but her training was amazing. And of course, having that gentleman in my first try going to the district, yeah, I put him in his place.
And I'm sure he remembers you. Thank you very much.
We're good friends now.
I think time-wise, we're pretty much out of time. And yeah, so what I'd like to do is to thank you. You know, I had 100 questions ready, but I knew I'd only need
talkers,
3 or 4.
Man, we're talkers.
Verity, so good of you. It was such an inspiring speech. Congratulations. Thank you so much. This is such an easy panel to talk to. I have to say I appreciate that a lot. Craig, we're going to see more of you. Roger, we'll see more of you. But thank you so much for being so open and honest. And you know what? These people are available anytime. Stop them in the hallway, ask questions. The question we didn't get to, ask them.
Yeah, stop Verity as well.
Stop Verity as well. She'll be in the hallway. Yeah, on the monitors, 1984, if you've ever read the book, yeah, kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Anyway, again, thank you so much. This was great inspiration for all of us.
Thank you. Can we take a picture with Verity? Can we like flip this around and just like,
Yeah,
is there
you
a picture?
Do that? Can we do that?
Can we get a picture with her?
Yeah, because up on there, it's on the screen.
You want us on the screen?
Okay, we'll be on the screen, okay.
I'll put my arms around you.
Yeah. Under the screen?
Go under the screen.
Jump on a table.
Hey, you go on that side of her, and I'll go on this side.
I can't see you,
There
but
we
I'm
go.
going to assume I've got you.
No chance to do with so many champions. Thank you. Roger, you're
Thank
awesome.
you, thank you.
Thank you. You're great.
Love you, Verity.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
I enjoyed your humor. You're hilarious.
Wow, so how was that, guys? Another round of applause for our panelists. Thank you, Verity, Rogers, Brian, and last but not least, Julius Irving. Thank you so much. Obviously, Craig Valentine. All right, so we are actually at a break. Is everybody ready for a break?